You could be the most beautiful woman in the room, but if you ignore these 4 rules, a man will lose respect for you faster than you think. And the crazy part, these rules have nothing to do with looks or status, but everything to do with how you carry yourself. Let me tell you what high-value men really notice, and why the women who understand this get treated with a different level of love, devotion, and yes, respect. You want to know why some women get taken seriously from day one? Why their words land harder, their boundaries get honored, and their presence commands attention? It's these 4 rules, and once you get them, the whole game changes. What if I told you that the way a man treats you has less to do with him and everything to do with how you treat yourself? That might feel uncomfortable to hear, but it's the truth. Men reflect the standards you actually live by, not just the ones you talk about. In this video, we're going to look at 4 quiet but powerful rules that can instantly shift the way men see you. But before we jump into the how, let's get real. Respect doesn't begin when he finally calls, commits to you, or brings flowers. It starts the moment you decide you won't settle for anything less than full alignment with your values. Respect isn't something you force out of someone. It's something you naturally earn by how you carry yourself. And here's the part no one talks about. A woman who truly respects herself teaches others how to treat her, without needing to say much at all. Maybe you've been in relationships where you gave your all and got the bare minimum back. Maybe you've hoped he would finally recognize your worth. But here's the truth. Men notice very quickly when a woman has standards they can't twist or bend. This isn't about playing mind games. It's about bringing out that part of you that's been quiet for too long, your deep feminine strength. The part that doesn't chase anyone, doesn't explain endlessly, and isn't afraid to walk away. Because when you live with self-respect, you stop needing to ask for his. And that's when things begin to shift. So let's get into it. Because the woman you are becoming is done tolerating disrespect. In any form. Let's be honest. One of the fastest ways women lose a man's respect is by explaining themselves too much. When you're always trying to justify your feelings, your choices, or your standards, what you're really saying underneath is, please see me, please don't be upset, please get where I'm coming from. That kind of energy is not coming from confidence, it comes from fear. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of being rejected or left behind. But here's something powerful to remember. A woman who deeply respects herself doesn't need to prove her worth. She shows it through how she lives. She sets the tone with her actions, not long explanations. She doesn't need to be validated to feel whole. She doesn't water down her boundaries just so others feel comfortable. And when a man sees that, it changes how he views her. Men don't fall in love with women who are always trying to prove they're worthy. They fall for the ones who already know they are, and don't apologize for it. That kind of calm confidence is rare, and men naturally respect what feels rare. If you say something like, "I'm not okay with mixed signals," and he pushes back, you don't owe him a long explanation. Just calmly say, "That's not something I accept," and let it stand. When you over-explain, you start giving away your power. You go from leading yourself to hoping someone else agrees with your choices. And when a man senses that your lines can be moved, he stops treating them seriously. That's why it's so important to stay grounded in your truth, even if it makes things awkward or uncomfortable. Some women are so scared of being labeled rude or too much that they explain themselves over and over just to avoid any kind of friction. But the truth is, respect doesn't come from always being agreeable. It comes from being authentic. Real alignment means knowing that not everyone is going to see things your way, and being at peace with that. Your ability to hold your ground without over-talking is what sets you apart. It tells him that his approval isn't what gives you worth, it's your own certainty. Silence, when used right, is powerful. You don't need to fill every moment with explanations. That quiet strength makes you feel more secure, more magnetic. A woman who doesn't explain every move teaches people, especially men, to believe her the first time. You're not on trial. You don't need to defend why you expect loyalty, honesty, or clarity. You simply set those as your personal standards and let how you live reflect them. The right man will understand without needing a whole speech. And if he doesn't get it, you'll walk away. No drama, no lecture, just self-respect. So if there's one rule that shifts how men treat you right away, it's this: stop explaining everything. You'll be shocked at how quickly people start matching your energy when you stop shrinking to be understood. Most women can feel when something is off, but instead of leaving, they hold on. They keep trying. They wait for signs. They tell themselves that maybe he'll change or suddenly understand, that maybe things will finally fall into place. But deep down, you always know when it's not right. Walking away isn't about revenge or proving a point. It's about guarding your own peace. If a relationship no longer feels mutual, open, or emotionally safe, staying becomes a form of self-betrayal. And the longer you stay in something that doesn't reflect your values, the more you begin to question your own worth. That's when self-doubt creeps in. That's when you stop shining. Here's something most people won't admit. Alignment isn't based on potential. It's not about what might happen one day. It's about what's real, right now. Is he showing up consistently? Is the connection balanced? Are his actions backing up his words? If not, that's your answer. You don't need more time. You need more self-trust. Walking away when things are no longer aligned is the highest form of self-respect. It's saying, I'm not going to stay where I'm not truly valued. And that kind of quiet strength leaves a lasting impression, because the moment a woman decides her peace matters more than her fear of being alone, she becomes powerful in a way no one can touch. She stops chasing breadcrumbs. She stops accepting confusion as normal. She stops settling for halfway love. Men have deep respect for a woman who walks away without shouting, without anger, just calm certainty. When a man sees you're not scared to leave the table when your needs go unmet, it shifts everything. He knows you're not relying on him for your emotional security. You're grounded in your own standards, and that's rare. Some women think that walking away means giving up, but it's the opposite. Giving up is what happens when you stay somewhere that drains your spirit. Walking away is what happens when you finally know you're worth too much to stay stuck. It's what you do when you realize almost right is still wrong, even if it hurts, even if you still care, even if leaving isn't convenient. The longer you stay in a place where your soul doesn't feel safe, the more disconnected you become from the version of you that's meant to thrive. Every single time you choose to walk away from something that doesn't feel right, you create space for something that does. Someone who sees you clearly, respects you fully, and doesn't need to be persuaded to treat you well. So if things feel off, if the clarity is missing, or if your spirit just doesn't feel peaceful, don't convince yourself to stay. Don't make excuses for mixed signals. Don't shrink who you are to fit something that doesn't honor you. Your standards aren't too much, and your inner voice, it's not too loud. It's guiding you somewhere better. Your boundaries are not too much. The moment you decide to leave for the last time, not out of anger, but from a place of calm, you'll feel your strength come back. And once you experience that kind of freedom, settling will no longer be an option. If there's one quality that instantly changes how men treat you, it's emotional detachment. This doesn't mean being cold or emotionless. It means finding a peaceful place within yourself that doesn't get shaken by late replies, unclear intentions, or mixed signals. Emotional detachment isn't about closing your heart. It's about choosing not to give your power away to every passing feeling or to every man who shows temporary interest. A lot of women mistake emotional detachment for being distant, but it's actually the opposite. It's the skill of caring deeply while still staying grounded in yourself. It means remaining open but not needy, present without being desperate, emotionally available but not losing yourself in the process. And when a woman moves through life with this energy, everything changes. Men notice when a woman is overly reactive. It's in the way she waits nervously for his replies, overthinks his messages, or becomes anxious when things feel unclear. That kind of pressure doesn't build connection, it pushes it away. Now picture a woman who's emotionally detached in a healthy way. She observes instead of reacting. She doesn't chase after answers. She lets truth reveal itself. She doesn't try to control situations. She allows alignment to sort things out naturally. She knows that if a man is truly right for her, she won't have to chase him. And if he's not, no words or efforts will make him stay. That level of self-control is powerful. It catches attention. It earns respect because she's no longer performing to earn love. She isn't trying to fit someone else's idea of what she should be. She isn't addicted to fantasy or false hope. She's solid in her self-worth, and her emotions don't run the show. Here's a truth that might hit deep. When a man sees that you're emotionally balanced, that his on and off behavior doesn't shake you, and that you don't need him to define your worth, his energy shifts. He realizes you're not someone who's easily impressed, and that if he wants access to your heart, he'll need to show up consistently, not just say the right things. Detachment opens up space. It gives you a clear mind, helps you respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. When you have emotional detachment, you're not waiting for him to label the relationship. You're watching his behavior. You let his actions speak. In that calm space, you notice things more clearly. You stop accepting empty promises. You start aligning with truth. That doesn't mean you stop feeling. You still feel love, excitement, and desire. But you don't let those emotions control your choices. You don't let attraction make you ignore red flags. You don't let hope make you stay when you should walk. When a woman learns to master emotional detachment, she stops forcing situations. She stops changing her values to keep someone around. She trusts that what's meant for her will feel peaceful, mutual, and solid. Everything else, just background noise. Here's something beautiful. Emotional detachment lets you walk away with kindness. You don't need dramatic endings. You don't need to prove anything. You can walk away knowing you chose yourself. And that kind of decision, it doesn't make you unlovable. It makes you unforgettable. Because the right man won't be threatened by your calm. He'll respect it. He'll feel secure knowing you're emotionally whole. That your presence is not a cry for attention, it's a choice. So if you felt drained from caring too much, giving too much, or thinking too much, this is your signal. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you love with awareness. It means you understand that not everyone deserves access to your heart, no matter how charming they seem. Detach for your peace. Detach so you can finally recognize who's truly showing up for you. Because once you stop reacting to everything, you start taking back everything you gave away. There's a big difference between setting a boundary and giving an ultimatum. And knowing that difference changes everything about how men react to you. Ultimatums are loud. Boundaries are calm. Ultimatums try to force someone to change. Boundaries are about protecting your peace. And a high-value woman always leads with boundaries, not threats. Maybe you've said things like, if you don't commit, I'm done, or if you don't change, we're through. That's an ultimatum. It usually comes from frustration or fear, trying to pull clarity from someone, even though deep down you already sense the truth. But here's the issue. If you need to push someone just to get the bare minimum, their respect for you is already shaky. Boundaries, on the other hand, come from strength. They don't need a dramatic speech. They don't need to be shouted. They show up through your actions. Quiet, steady, clear. A boundary sounds like, I'm not okay with inconsistent energy. And when that kind of behavior shows up, you quietly step away. No warnings, no emotional outbursts, just quiet action. When a man senses ultimatums, he feels cornered. He may pull away, not because he doesn't care, but because he feels controlled. But when he sees a woman lead with boundaries, it sparks respect. It shows him she's not trying to change him, she's just certain of what she will and won't accept. That type of clarity, it's powerful, it's rare, It changes the energy of the whole relationship. Most women use ultimatums because they're afraid of being hurt again, of wasting time, of not being chosen. So they try to get ahead of the pain by demanding change. But instead of bringing connection, that often brings resistance. When you lead with boundaries instead, you give the other person the space to show you who they really are, without pressure. You simply watch. You don't chase change, you respond to what you see. And if his behavior doesn't match your standards, you walk away, quietly and confidently. That calm removal, that's what leaves the biggest impact. And it protects your peace. You're no longer stuck in emotional battles, trying to prove your worth. You're just living your truth. And anyone who can't meet you there, they naturally fade away. Men have deep respect for women who lead with boundaries, not because they're mean or harsh, but because they're clear, and clarity is powerful. Most people accept inconsistency and confusion because they're scared to be alone. But when a man meets a woman who's not afraid to leave anything that disrupts her peace, he sees her differently. He realizes she isn't operating from fear, she's guided by values. She's not looking for someone to fix her, she's looking for someone who fits her. You don't have to raise your voice to be heard. You don't need to beg to be respected. When your boundaries are strong and silent, your energy speaks louder than any words could. You don't need to give out warnings just to be taken seriously. What matters most is being clear on what you allow and living in alignment with that. So ask yourself this: what have you been putting up with and calling it patience? What are you still holding on to even though you keep saying you'll leave? What would shift in your life if you stopped giving ultimatums and simply started living your boundaries? You don't have to control anyone else. You only need to control what you allow into your space. Because when your energy says, I won't compete for a place in someone's life, you release yourself. You stop forcing things. You begin to flow. And that's when the right person will feel secure, seen, and motivated to meet you at your level. Lead with clear boundaries. Let your actions speak for you. Let anyone who isn't aligned quietly exit. No stress, no pressure. Now let's look at what happens when women actually live by these 4 rules in real life. Because this isn't just talk, it's real change. The women who've applied these shifts are living proof that self-respect, love and peace come naturally when you choose yourself first. Take one woman, let's call her Sarah. She used to explain everything. Her feelings, her choices, her silence. She always felt she had to defend herself. Every time a man pulled away, she'd chase the conversation, trying to fix things or be understood. It left her feeling anxious, unseen, and like she had to earn love. But when she stopped explaining and started observing, something changed. She let her actions speak instead of her words. She didn't send long texts. She didn't try to fix misunderstandings. She simply honored her boundaries. Almost instantly, the man she was seeing started showing up more. He got curious, he became consistent. The energy between them shifted. She had stopped seeking approval. She had become the chooser, and he could feel that. Then there's another story. Let's call her Mira. She had been stuck in a situationship for over a year. He said he wasn't ready for commitment, yet acted like her boyfriend. She kept waiting, hoping and accepting his back and forth behavior. But then she embraced the second rule. She quietly walked away. No big fight, no emotional breakdown, just clear, calm action. He panicked, of course, but this time she didn't go back. She simply said, "This doesn't feel mutual anymore. I won't keep choosing someone who's unsure about me." That one choice didn't just change her relationship, it changed her life. She didn't just let go of him, she let go of the version of herself who begged to be picked. And 6 months later, she met someone emotionally available, consistent, and ready for something real. She told me, if I hadn't made space by letting go, I would have never met someone who was truly ready. Then there's Lena. Her growth was all about mastering emotional detachment. She used to spiral every time a guy didn't text back right away. She'd question herself, reread every message, and give away her peace without even realizing it. But when she learned how to sit with her feelings without letting them control her, everything changed. She started showing up differently, calm, centered, secure. The men she dated felt that energy. One of them even told her, "There's something about you that makes me want to be better." That's the power of detachment. It doesn't demand, it inspires. And finally, Maya. She was always setting ultimatums, begging for answers, pushing for commitment, warning her partner that if he didn't change, she'd leave. But those tactics only created tension. Then one day, she stopped making threats and started living her boundaries. When her boyfriend ghosted her for 3 days, she didn't react with anger, she didn't send a dramatic message, she simply went quiet. And when he eventually reached out, she calmly replied, "This isn't the kind of relationship I'm looking for. I wish you well." That was it. No arguing, no explanation. 2 weeks later, he came back, apologetic and ready to change, but by then she had already moved on. Her peace wasn't negotiable anymore. These stories are just a few examples of what happens when a woman steps into her power. Not by yelling, not by being harsh, but by becoming clear, steady, and deeply aligned with her truth. These 4 rules don't just get you respect from others, they help you give more respect to yourself. And once that shift happens, the entire world responds differently to you. This isn't about trying to be perfect, it's about becoming more aware. Every time you make a small choice in favor of your worth, every time you hold a boundary or choose to walk instead of beg, that's when the change begins. You are not here to earn your worth, you are here to live it fully. And when you do, love starts to meet you exactly where you are. If you're still here, you already understand this isn't a game, it's a transformation. Becoming a woman who naturally receives respect doesn't mean you have to fight for it. It means your energy makes it a given. High value energy isn't a role you play when dating, it's a way of living. It shows up in how you treat yourself daily. So how do you stay in that energy, especially when things feel hard? When emotions are intense, your patience is running low, or you're tempted to fall back into familiar patterns. First, manage your emotions before reacting. A high-value woman doesn't act on impulse. She takes a moment. She reflects. She responds with intention. That small pause can change everything. Whether it's a delayed reply, a confusing message, or something upsetting, your strength lies in your calm. Holding back doesn't make you cold, it makes you powerful. Second, start each day by grounding yourself in your values. Say them out loud, write them down. Remind yourself, I don't chase love. I don't explain obvious boundaries. I don't shrink to please others. The more you repeat this, the more it becomes who you are. Because this energy isn't a trick, it's a habit, a lifestyle, a practiced mindset. Next, look at what surrounds you. Are your friendships, conversations, or even social media feeding you insecurity or peace? High-value energy can't survive in low-vibe spaces. Protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Choose what you let in carefully. Fill your world with content and people that remind you of your worth, not question it. Here's another thing. Stop explaining your standards to people who are committed to misunderstanding them. When you feel like defending yourself, pause and ask, do I need to be understood or do I need to be respected? Long explanations don't create respect. Aligned actions do. So walk in your values, let people either rise to meet you or leave. Either way, you stay grounded. Also, practice emotional detachment every day. Let go of the pressure to hold everything together. What flows stays. What resists teaches you something. When you believe that, your nervous system relaxes. You feel safe within yourself. You realize that alignment doesn't need to be chased. It needs to be trusted. And most of all, Keep reminding yourself of this truth.